Hey guys, what's going on? Mr. Catlin here. We're looking at lesson number 3 for your Unit 2 homework this week. We've got 2 more lessons to go to finish it up, and Noah is running a portion of a marathon at a constant speed of 6 miles per hour. Way to go, Noah. Getting some exercise. Congratulations. Complete the table to predict how long it will take him to run different distances at that speed and how far he would run in different time intervals as well. So we're working back and forth in this table. You'll notice that in the table there's no numbers next to each other, so we have to get that information from the problem. Now he's going at a constant speed, which tells me it will be proportional. And this right here is key because it tells us where to put our first number in the table. He's moving 6 miles per 1 hour. So we're going to put a 6 right here because in an hour's time, he can go 6 miles. So from that, we can get our constant of proportionality. That tells us we're going to multiply 6 to get over, and we're going to divide by 6 to come back. And so the first 3 is just a simple multiplication by 6. Half of 6 is 3, so that's pretty easy. And then 1 1/3 of 6. I can do that mentally, but if you're struggling with doing that mentally, you can always go to your Desmos calculator and do 1 1/3. So here's how I would type it in. Type in your 1/3 first, and then use your arrows to go back for your whole number, and then your arrows to come back over here. And remember, you're multiplying by 6, and that's one way to type that in and get the answer of 8. Okay, so use that calculator if you're struggling. Hopefully you don't have to on all of them, but if you get stuck on a multiplication of something or division, probably going to need it more on some of these others where, this division is not as easy to do. So like 1 1/2, 9, and 4 1/2. I'll just do them all kind of together so you can see how they go into that calculator. 1 1/2, 9, and 4 1/2. All right, so let me jump here. We got 1 1/2. And so that's going to be, type in the half first, 1/2. All right, and then we'll go, I meant to type it, oh, man, I'm stinking this up. Okay, so 1 as your numerator, over 2, use your arrows to go back, 1 1/2. Okay, and remember, we're dividing by 6 to go back to the left side. So we're dividing by 6. That gives us a quarter. So we're going to put a quarter or 0.25 here. All right, you could also have 1/4. That's the same thing. All right, 9 divided by 6. I'm just going to go ahead and write that like this, 9/6, which reduces to 3/2, or if you're decimals, 1.5. And then 4 1/2 divided by 6. We can use the calculator for that one. 4 1/2. So let me clear. We're going to do 1/2 first. So 1/2. We need the 4 in front, and we're dividing that by 6. And that gives us 7/500 or 3/4. So let's go back to our writing. 7/500, which is the same as 3/4 of an hour. All right. It asks for it in hours, so you don't have to tell me minutes. That's just going above and beyond. I guess if you wanted to do that, you could. All right. A kilometer is 1,000 meters. So they give you that situation right here. So over here, easy enough. Your constant is timesing by 1,000. But on the other side, it is timesing by 1,000th or dividing by 1,000, which a lot of you would probably think of it that way. But as we learned in class, multiplying by tens, hundreds, thousands is pretty easy. You just got to move your decimal. So for timesing by 1,000, it's a decimal move 3 places to the right. So this would be 5,000. 3 places to the right, that would be 20,000. And 3 places to the right, 1, 2, 3, that would be 300. And dividing by 1,000 or multiplying by 1,000th, you're moving decimal 3 places to the left. So 1, 2, 3, that would leave you with 0.25. And for this one, 1, 2, 3, that would be 0.012. And for this one, 1, 2, 3, 0.001. All right. So that's an easy way to quickly do that. And if you look at your 2 constants of proportionalities, 1,000th and 1,000, those 2 constants, 1/1,000 and 1,000/1, they are what we call Reciprocals. Okay, we've gone over that a bunch. So that word keeps on popping up, kind of an important word. And let's finish this thing off with number 3. Jade and Lynn are comparing inches and feet. Man, what an exciting conversation I bet they're having. And Jada says that the constant of proportionality is 12. Lynn's like, oh, wait a minute, it's 12. Do you agree with either of them? Explain your reasoning. Okay, so Jade's like, hey, when I'm talking about feet to inches, I know that 1 is 12. So, man, I multiply by 12, that's my constant. But Lynn's like, no, wait a minute. I've got a different opinion on this. I set my table up with inches first. So I'm going to put it like this. 1 is 12 foot. So, I got that backwards. Hold on. I'm going to put 12 inches over here and 1 over there. And so when I multiply, my constant is a 12. Well, who's right? So who do we agree with? Well, actually, they're both kind of right. All right. So do we agree with either of them? We're going to say they are both correct. Okay. They just set up their tables in reverse or differently. Let's just say differently. They just set up their tables differently. I mean, their constants are reciprocals. They're reciprocals to one another because they just swapped the units with one another, and that happens. Your constant really depends on the way you set up your table. So if your table is set up differently and you switch those around, yeah, sure, you could have a different constant, but it's still the same relationship between the quantities. You just have it backwards. It was one compared to the other. So they're both fine. And really, this type of thing happens where you have reciprocals switch because you get the two units that are in the table get mixed up. All right. And there you go. There's your problems for lesson 3. And I'll post lesson 4 here in a second.